Hi everyone, my name is Cindy and I'm an Australian homeschooler. Today I'll be walking you through All About Spelling. All About Spelling is a phonics-based spelling program. And let me tell you, as someone who was born in Australia in the 80s and had no formal phonics instruction, this blew my mind. I always thought that the English language was just a random mishmash of other European languages and therefore made no sense. Words are spelt the way they're spelt, and you just have to remember them. This program blows that misconception out of the water. Turns out the English language is governed by phonograms and spelling rules, and if you know these, you will be able to understand why words are spelt the way they are. Let me give you some examples. Okay, so we've got this word here, code. First we segment it, k-o-d, with a silent e at the end. So what's the first sound? It's a k sound. Why does it start with a C and not a K? Well, there's a spelling rule that says we should always try C first. C makes its second sound S when it precedes an I, an E, or a Y. So if you want to make a k sound before those letters, that's when you would use a K. Here we're going to stick with C because it precedes an O. When you learn the phonogram for the letter O, you learn that it makes 4 sounds. O, O, U, A. As in octopus, open, to, and oven. In this word code, it is making its second sound, also known as the long sound, O. And why is that? Because it has a silent E at the end, which is doing its first job of turning a short sound into a long sound. Without the E, it would say cod. And by the end of level 3, the student will have learnt all 7 jobs of the silent E. Let me give you a second example. Large. So we segment it first, L, A, J, with a silent E at the end. In this program, AR is taught as a phonogram, so when we segment the word, we keep them together. There are 2 letters making one sound, R. And what is the last sound? J. Why do we not spell large with a J? Well, because there's a spelling rule that says English words do not end in I, U, V, or J. So we use G here and it's making its second sound, J. And why is that? Again, we have the silent E doing this time its second job of making a C or a G soft. Now I said this program teaches spelling rules, but what it excludes is the oversimplified rules that many of us learnt as children. These rules come with so many exceptions, they are no longer helpful. Let me give you 2 examples. I before E except after C. Well, it turns out there's about 1 million exceptions. Here's a few. Sufficient, veil, there, leisure, sovereign, protein, neighbor, ancient, society, and many more. Here's another oversimplified rule. When 2 vowels go walking, the first one does the talking. So what does that mean? So if we have a word like green, you've got 2 vowels together. The first one does the talking, so it makes an E sound in green. And again, it makes the E sound in C, makes an O sound in coat, makes an E sound in clean, makes an A sound in rain. But when you have a look at a larger variety of words, you'll soon find out that it's actually a false rule 60% of the time. Here are some examples. Good, so it makes an U sound. About makes an OW sound. Earth makes an sound. Bear, air. Noise, oi. Author, or. Friend, and many others. So having said all that, let me show you all the bits that come with the program. So there's the box of flashcards that's used for review at the start of each lesson. And this looks really crazy, but I've got 3 levels worth in here. So all my 3 kids' Clark cards are in here. They've color coordinated them. So there's 4 colors for the 4 types of review. There's the phonogram cards. A, R, B, K, S, D, E, F, G, J. And they're really well organized. You see each one here is labeled phonogram card 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And on this side, they've labeled level 1, step 1. So they put the level and step that each card is introduced in. So you can't really get lost in this program. You know exactly when to use each card. There's the sound cards. So here, instead of giving your child the phonogram, you make the sounds and they need to write down what the phonogram is. So you say A, R, and they write the letter A. You say B, and they write the letter B. You say K, S, and they write the letter C, and so on. Then you have the blue ones, which are the key cards. These are for all the spelling rules the child learns. So things like counting syllables. C says S before what 3 letters? E, I, or Y. What are 2 ways to spell the sound K at the beginning of a word, and which letter do we try first? C and K, and we try C first. Which letters are often doubled after a single vowel at the end of a 1-syllable word? F, L, and S. I'm super impressed with how organized this is. I don't know who designed these cards, but I imagine them as a uni student being the one highlighting and color coordinating all their notes. These are the word cards. So these are the spelling words that the child learns throughout the year, and you're constantly reviewing them so they don't forget them. So these are the level 1 cards. Then there's the phonogram tiles. Now you can get this in an app or a physical form. The one I've got here is not the official All About Spelling tiles, but they're pretty similar, and I've just done some dodgy DIY for the minor differences. By the end of level 5, the program will have covered all 71 phonograms, and you use this board when the student is learning a new phonogram or a new spelling rule to spell new words. And as you can see, this is again very well ordered. You've got all your single letter phonograms at the top. You've got your consonant teams, your vowel teams, the sounds of the sounds of sh, and miscellaneous others. Okay, then you have the teacher's manual. This I love because it is entirely scripted for the parent. There is no preparation involved. You can just open the book and go. I tried another program which required me to watch about 1 million hours of instructional videos before I was able to start teaching my kids. And you can see why I switched over. Also, with some levels, you'll get some random miscellaneous items. For example, here's a jail card for words which don't follow the rules. But the 3 items I've just shown are the core components of the course. I'll now show you what a lesson looks like. There are 7 levels to All About Spelling, and I'll show you level 1. So here's the contents page. Here's some preparation for the parent to read through, and here's the complete step-by-step lesson plans. So they're calling them step 1, step 2, step 3. So these are concepts or lessons. So there's 24 for level 1, and then some appendices at the back. So some concepts they cover in level 1, segmenting words, the first 26 phonograms, short vowels, the short E. They learn some multi-letter phonograms, segmenting words with blends, final blends, initial blends, the sound of k, doubling F, L, and S after a single vowel, and that's after a single syllable word. The sound of k at the end of a word, so how do you spell that? Consonant teams, NG, NK, compound words, plural words, and open syllables. I'll just show you step 21, so the consonant team for nk. So this is how a lesson looks. So I've got step 21 there, consonant team NK, and it tells you the aim of this lesson. This lesson will teach how you spell words containing nk. You will need the word cards 131 to 140. And as you saw before from the cards, they're very easy to find because they're very well labelled. Then you start with review. You review your different cards, phonogram cards, sound cards, key cards, word cards. And you don't need to review every single card, every single lesson. Just about 5 minutes of review will do. And now it's got the new teaching and it's completely scripted for you. So it says to arrange these tiles. So they're talking about these tiles here, and we're learning this one, nk. So you need your vowel tiles and your NK tile. Tile NK can come after A, and you slide the NK next to the A. It can come after I, and you slide the NK next to the I. It can come after O, it can come after U, but it never comes after E, and you remove the E tile. So it's very clear what you should be doing. Then you've got some new words to learn for the lesson. And it says follow the procedure for spelling with tiles. And so with this program, there's 4 steps. So the first word is bank. The first step is to dictate the word to the student. So you just say bank. Number 2, the student segments the word aloud, pulling down a tile for each sound. So they will go b, a, nk. Then they say the word bank, and then they return the tiles. The next one is thank. A, nk, thank, and then they return the tiles. And you do this with all the words. When the child gets comfortable finding the tiles, then they can do it writing down. So then you do this again in a later lesson and they write the word instead of using the tiles. Now I love this method of teaching spelling. When I was a child, I was given the list of words. I looked at them, I covered them, I wrote them out, and eventually learned them well enough to pass the end of week spelling test. And then I forgot them. When a student needs to encode the word themselves, learning becomes much more meaningful, and you reinforce the concept, not just the word itself. And the student will then be able to apply it to other words. So then they have more words here. Once your student gets comfortable with these words, there are extra words to practice the NK concept. And then some phrases to dictate, which also all have the NK. So you're really reinforcing the same concept over and over until they master it. And then you move on to the next lesson. And in this lesson, it's compound words. In the lower levels, dictating phrases. So you do a few each day, you don't need to dictate all of them. They're phrases at the start, and as you get more comfortable, they become full sentences. And that's a lesson. So it's easy to implement, it's to the point, it's effective. 15 to 20 minutes a day is all you need. There are many spelling programs out there, but I love the user-friendliness of All About Spelling. Give it a go, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.